We're here today for consideration of awarding the contract for the operation of the Winter Park Tennis Center. Up until 3 years ago, the city's Parks and Recreation Department operated the center at a financial loss to the city. The city staff determined that its positive revenue source could result with contracting of the management services for the center, and the city accomplished its business plan by requiring the service provider to collect a percentage of independent teaching pros revenues. We accomplished that. We got there. We are here today at the conclusion of the first 3 years contract to again consider awarding a management contract to a vendor. Staff has confidence that this type of management operation for the tennis center is a positive approach and recommends increasing the contract options to a modification of a 5-year term. The city's purchasing policies have been followed. You have recommendations before you that have met the criteria for operating the tennis center. You have 2 qualified vendors vying for the privilege of operating our great tennis facility. Staff has experienced some learning curves as well during the past 3 years and will make appropriate tweaks and changes to our contract to assure the continuance of the highest level of customer service. Our goal remains to provide the best tennis center and services in the area for the residents of Winter Park. You will hear shortly from the vendors vying for the privilege of serving our residents and tennis customers. You will hear business plans, success stories, and emotional pleas for the future of our tennis champions. I wish I could make your decision easier. I can assure you that staff will be able to work with your selection and continue the great tennis center services the residents currently enjoy. Thank you very much. I'll be available for questions.
Thank you, John. Mr. Knight, and then we'll see if the city commission has any questions of you. John, you're going to go sit over there. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, questions of Mr. Holland. John, I'm going to start with one, and that is, as you looked over the last 3 years, do you see, I don't know how we measure truly the successes, if it's by play or by, certainly the operation has been on the right side of the budget, am I correct?
Correct.
What other indicators does the Parks Department look at to say success, not success, et cetera, with the previous, for the current operator?
The number of players, we've certainly had an increase in attendance and use of the center. The teaching programs have been well attended, well orchestrated through that. We've had very few complaints over that. Again, as I mentioned in my opening statement, we've learned some things. There's some tweaking that we can do in the contract to make things better for everyone. As you know, during the initial 3-year discussion that we had years ago, there were things that they wanted to include in that: newsletters, tournament requirements, availability of free court use for the public. We've managed to tweak those. My staff, Mr. Ronnie Moore, Assistant Director, has been well ingrained in the meetings. We've had regular meetings with them. We've learned, again, over the 3 years, what works best, what doesn't, and I think we can certainly tweak the contract to address any of those things that would be a continuance.
And Mr. Other questions, Mr. Holland?
John, we are in effect tonight approving potentially one of these 2 vendors to enter into contract.
Correct.
We are not approving a contract. We are merely saying this is who we wish to negotiate with in hopes of arriving at a contract. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you mentioned contract tweaks. Would you care to share what some of those tweaks are going to potentially be? Because I think that's relevant to at least my decision-making process.
One of the, we've mentioned it, I mean, the length of the contract that we've talked about. There are some concerns that I receive phone calls about, the reservation policy and the fairness of the reservation policy and how we can better do it.
And that's stipulated in the contract, but that's really an operating principle,
It's
right?
more of an operating thing, but we can address it.
Because there were people that were fearful at the beginning, am I correct in that?
It's a software issue.
Well,
In 2009, we put a lot of things, I was the only one of the.
yes,
that was here.
early back when there
We put a lot of
was some
things in the contract
favoritism
because
shown.
we thought that there could be problems.
Correct. And I mean, there's still things like that that could be between the,
Yeah.
the,
I mean, but does that need to be in a contract per se, or does that just need to say that the operator will use the principal policies that the city has?
we would like to have it, the ability of us to work with them on that reservation policy and make it to the best of the customer service as possible.
In my line of work, there are specific things that you put in there that says you will do this on a weekly, monthly, yearly, daily, hourly basis, whatever it is. And I'm not sure that there's a policy per se, but that's.
Soft courts
I don't
require
want to get in
specific.
the weeds right now, but I mean, there are things I think you put in there that you say you're going to do something on a basis that's not a policy, but it's actually in a contract. So,
Okay, well, we can discuss that.
yeah, I think that's,
Matter with
I was
that.
curious as to what items that.
Are there any questions, other questions of staff?
Well, I am curious from John to make sure the things that I've been contacted most often about are taken care of in the contract. One of those was the condition of the clay court. The other was the reservation system, conservation of the electric utilities. I guess there's something going on about that that needs to be defined. And then the presence of at least 2 people there when the center opens in the morning. So are those things that you've already dealt with?
Correct. During the busy times, we would like to have enough staff there to accommodate all the customers and phone calls that are going on.
And the electric utilities? is that-
Well, the electric utilities, we've bid that with the electric and the water for the soft courts included in the contract. Therefore, it will be conducive on their part, on the vendor's part, to be somewhat conservative in the management of that.
The past contract had the city paying those, and there was the fear that, or concern that maybe the most conservation was not taking place because they weren't paying for it. So in this contract, the vendor
All
will
the
be paying.
citizens don't play tennis in the dark. Conservative at the moment.
So it sounds like.
The other questions of staff?
The one thing I'll add, another concern I had was, or concern that had been relayed to me was in regards to unofficial childcare at the facility. It seems like there's a lot of children running around. I don't know if that opens us up to any liability from a city perspective. So again, that doesn't have to be addressed here. That could be addressed in the contract but I think it needs to be addressed because
Yes,
certainly
there
don't want
is
to put the city
liability.
on the hook from a liability perspective.
Correct.
Obviously, as a father of 7-year-old triplets, I'm sensitive to kids, but I certainly don't, also be sensitive to the city.
We like to look at them as future tennis champions.
Well, as I say, you might want more than they can play doubles against each other. And what I hear, no matter what, I mean, tonight the decision before us is who we would start to negotiate with. It sounds like those issues would be required of anybody we would ask to do this with, so I trust that the city manager is taking notes so that city staff has that. Okay, what I would like to do at this point then, unless there are further questions of staff, is we're gonna give each of the two that were, the 2 groups or the 2 parties or the 2 organizations which were selected, the opportunity to speak up to 10 minutes. I'll let them choose if they wanna have questions during that period or not, but they're gonna get 10 minutes, so. They can
I'm Len Samard. I'm the one of the proprietors of this Net Results All American Tennis. Just to confirm, is it 10 minutes that we'll speak, and then 10 minutes that we'll have for people to speak for us, and then questions?
We will give a public comment period of up to 10 minutes on your behalf, yes. If you have people you'd like to speak.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
After the question.
You got 10 minutes now first.
Well, thank you for having us. That's the first thing. We've not been a part of this before, so we are clearly tennis patrons, tennis professionals. We are not political analysts or political people. So this is the very first time we've had a chance to do this. And clearly, when we see the passion that must go on here in Winter Park, we have nothing but praise to see this because it's phenomenal. We have 7 facilities, as you know, and we would like to think that we would have at least this turnout, if not more, at our facilities if we were in the same situation. So I honor your passion for that, and congratulations for coming out. My background really fast, again, my name is Len Samard. I've been the director of tennis at Isleworth for the past 9 years. We've seen tremendous growth at Isleworth in those 9 years. I'm also at the Buchanan Field Club in Buchanan, Connecticut. New Canaan, Connecticut, which is a satellite club of Wall Street, and I've been there for 16 summers. And I also am the president of Smart Search, which is the only tennis search firm in the country that actually implements tennis directors and head professionals at clubs throughout the country. We also, as Dave and I have mentioned, we're the sole proprietors of Net Results All-American Tennis. We were the selection choice of the search committee earlier after doing two very intricate presentations. So thank you to the search committee for that. Just a few out of professional experiences. I was the president of the United States Professional Tennis Association for 3 years and was on 6 national board positions over the last 15 years. So we have between David and I, David's the municipal specialist. He's been at 5 municipal facilities across the country and has done a phenomenal job. I completely treat him as one of the best municipal specialists in the country, flat out. Between us, we decided to join forces with the private entity that we are, in my case, and Dave's municipality interests, and we came up with the 2 combined companies. We then opened up a club and took over management of the largest tennis facility in the state of Florida over in Tampa, and the only USTA 10 and under official facility called Tampa Tennis at HCC. It's at Hillsbury Community College. So far, that on its own, we took that company over just 2 years ago. They were at a $250,000 deficit. This year we'll make about $75,000, so it's about over $300,000 turnover in 2 years. We are very successful in what we've done. We have never been awarded a contract and had it taken away, ever. We have been very successful and love what we do. Behind me too, I'm remiss in not talking about Kevin to my left here, Kevin Brundle, who's our manager at that club, Tampa Tennis at HCC. And behind me is my head pro at Isleworth, Marco Herrera. Kevin's been with us 7 years, Marco 5 years. And what we really try and do is anybody who comes in with our organization, as you know, we're a management firm and a management company, so we're able to train our own staff, and we have 35 current staff professionals. It's been a wonderful experience for us. One of the things that attracted us so much about Winter Park is that it's local for me. It's local for us, and this is where our headquarters are based in Orlando. So I know a lot of the pros, I know a lot of the rules, the weight league rules, the various people. And at that time, I will also clearly say I know Angie, I know Tobias, I know Amy, I know Matt. You know, a lot of the people that were very, very intricate in what's going on at Winter Park. And they have done a pretty good job in the last 3 years. Our idea that what we can do, of course, with our proven record of having the 7 facilities, is we think we can take it the next step. We really do. We've had a few things that have come up with, you know, whether or not they were totally accurate in some of the statements to the various residents, so we want to address those really fast. I mean, the one thing, we are a local company. 2, it was always decided that if the staff at the center wanted to stay, that would be up to them if they chose to stay. Number 3, would never raise rates, okay, when we start in a new facility. It's always analyzed for a lengthy period of time. We come out, we make our assessments, and then we decide what would be best to take down in price, up in price, or leave it at the current price. And I will say at that point, as the commissioners know, that anything to do with price is completely dictated by you all. So we would not have any choice in that matter of raising prices even if we wanted to. And then the other thing is rules and regulations. Our whole premise, and the reason why we've been successful, is simply by raising the level of activity, whether it be with the seniors, with the team players, with the children. As I said, we have the only 10 and under facility in the state of Florida. And most of the technology right now is running through our facility in Tampa, and it gets distributed throughout the state of Florida. So we feel like we really know what we're doing. the only thing that I can say, one more minute? I don't know, but my last comment is again, I respect Angie, know her. I just think that if it's time for you to decide to take it to the next level, I really think that we could be in this situation, we could probably take the program 8 or 10 years out within 1 or 2 years. And we respectfully ask the right to have that.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen of the commission, thank you very much for having us. We're very appreciative. And also to Carrie and her search committee, we're very appreciative of the opportunity to be here today. Len has left me about 3 minutes and 20 seconds to get through about 26 points here. So I'm going to have to move fast. You've already used up 7. Excuse me. So again, as Len has alluded to, net results All-American Tennis, we are municipal specialists. We specialize in community tennis management of high-end facilities. We are a high-quality instructional team that has out-of-the-box programming. And that's another thing that I'd like to just bring up is that we increase our revenues based on the style of programming that we have, the instructional diversity that we have, and by maximizing the utilization. So there are no raises in price. The big thing that we do is we have outstanding customer service. In Pompano Beach, where we ran a 16-court facility, we facilitated 68,000 players annually. We hosted 28 adult teams, and we hosted an ITF junior training facility, which means that these kids come from all over the country to train with us. In Brookline, Massachusetts, where I am based, we operate 3 facilities. We provide service to 2,200 families. We are 95% sold out of all the programs that we operate. We had 465 junior summer campers last summer, and we just had a big special on the Tennis Channel if anybody had seen Destination Boston. In Palm Beach, we have completely revamped and enhanced their lesson programs. We've got over a 40% more activity of players, and we've increased all revenues 30% within our first year. As Len had alluded to, in Tampa, we have a major turnaround. We took over an operation that was losing $230,000, and now we've turned it around, and we're well on our way with all the efforts of Kevin. We also are going to show at the end of this slide presentation a little bit of our program and our 10 and under program in Tampa. Where we are the strongest is our consistency, continuity, and our work ethic. We develop our own market with USTA and USPTA playing programs to provide opportunities for all levels of play. Our community model is top programming, along with top pros and top marketing equals total success. We have a retention rate of better than 70%, which is virtually unheard of in our community. Our customer service is that of private clubs. Customer value and satisfaction, no reason for our clients to look anywhere else. What net results brings? We are going to bring Buda Park Tennis back to the community prominence that I enjoyed as a Rollins College player and graduate in 1981. We intend to enhance major utilization increases and diverse activities for all factions. Why we are the choice? Extensive municipal and club experience and success exceeding expectations. Overwhelming success developing tennis centers for our municipal partners. Immediate increased participation and growth. We develop more revenue sources with creative programming and activity, more revenue for the city, and our connections within the tennis industry can save the city a significant amount of money when it comes to major renovations. We have 64 years of clay court and facility maintenance experience. The direction of our program is well suited for the needs of your community. Continuity, consistency, philosophy, program, and service. And we are driven by community satisfaction, all-inclusive, something for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would pause if the commission has any questions of net result.
Not at the moment, but
Okay, we'll give you that opportunity at this time. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
I think representatives of High Performance will be presenting now for the next 10 minutes. We appreciate that. Thank you.
My name is Angie, and I'm High Performance Sports Manager. I appreciate this opportunity to.
Could you speak into the mic? I'm sorry.
You can't hear me? I appreciate this opportunity to speak and explain the success and the future plans for Winter Park Tennis Center. We develop programs, tournaments, community outreach, social events, newsletter, updated website. All the programs are affordable. Adult programs we have from beginners to men's advanced clinic. Recreational programs, we have 2 different programs, one for recreational, one for high performance. We have holiday camps, we have summer camps. At Tennis Center, we brought USTA tournaments, not just only juniors, we have adult tournaments. We continue to support Rollins College with an annual tournament. This is my favorite part. Community outreach. We developed 3 partnerships so far with 3 elementary schools, Lakemont, Aloma, and Brookshire. Our pros volunteer their time to help PE teachers to introduce kids to the tennis. High Performance is financial supporter for Winter Park High School tennis team. Winter Park High School tennis team are going to represent Winter Park in national tournament next month in Kentucky. And we are very proud to support them. Social events. Everybody loves social events. We have Valentine's, we have Mardi Gras, Super Bowl, St. Patrick's Day. Last summer, our pros came up with an idea, having a team tennis with the pros, where pros had a team and they were competing against each other in the team and they were coaching. The event was so successful, we got recognized at USTA Florida newsletter. Our memberships for the past 3 years raised over 90%. And because of all of the activity, we paid to the city of Winter Park over $155,000. I would like to stop here and show you a little video of what customers think about our services. Let's look into the future, what we want to see happening at Winter Park Tennis Center. Are we projecting revenue of $595,000? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do it? We're going to increase membership. We're going to retain members, and we're going to heavily concentrate on adult and recreational programs. Also, this year we scheduled additional tournament for juniors, so we're going to have maximum of 4 tournaments, and we're going to have 3 tournaments, USTA sanctioned tournaments at Tennis Center. And of course, we're going to support Rollins with the annual tournament. Business lunch hour. We're going to promote a healthy lifestyle with the local businesses. And we're going to do this with partnering with the local chambers. Community outreach. We are going to continue to grow our community outreach with the schools, where our pros are going to help PE teachers to introduce kids to tennis. Also, we would like to partner with Winter Park to find the grants to make sure that our facility stays beautiful. High performance. High performance is very detail-oriented and community-based. We understand the delicate, we understand the business. Delicate. High performance is very detail-oriented and community-based. We understand the delicate between business and tradition. That's what defines Winter Park. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions of high performance? Okay, great. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Commission, you've heard the presentation, certainly had hundreds of emails on the subject. I would seek, before we went to any public comment, a motion, if that's possible, to place on the table.
I'd like to make a motion.
Please.
I'd like to move to provider to ask our Parks and Rec people to work with high performance on this as we move forward.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Sprinkle. Discussion, I'm sorry, pardon me. So moved by Commissioner Sprinkle, seconded by Commissioner Cooper, thank you. Discussion from the commission? I'm sorry, Commissioner Sprinkle?
I just wanted to clarify that I think the output from the community definitely has been terrific on this. It's been an amazing thing to watch because obviously 3 years ago, this tennis community went through great upheaval. I just think it's way too soon to ask the tennis community to go through upheaval again. It might very well turn out to be grand and it might very well be more upheaval to go through. I'd like to see us manage that and move through it and keep going and keep growing the way we're going. I loved both presentations. I thought they were great. But I think that the community is speaking and I'm listening, and I think that's why it's important for us to look as we move forward and what the community is telling us that they want, because I used to play a lot of tennis, but can't move as fast as I used to be able to, so it's nice to me. We've got so many people out there playing, so I'm delighted that we have this great output.
Other commission discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to, first of all, I'd like to thank staff for going through this process. I know it's incredibly stressful, so thank you for pulling this together. I also want to thank Net Results for coming in and obviously coming into an area that the folks love who we currently have, and taking a stab at trying to present to us takes a lot. So thank you for the presentation. Thank you for your efforts. And we did. We received a lot of great comments from a lot of folks in our community that live in Winter Park, but they're also guests to our community that live in the surrounding areas. So I want to thank everybody that's participated there as well. It's difficult to try to make that judgment call between what we know is good and can it be better. Right now, it looks like everybody seems to be pretty pleased with what's going on here. I have no question in my mind that Net Results will be a positive asset to the community as well. I'm very familiar with the Nican Field Club growing up in that area. You guys, the resume itself is impressive as heck, and I think we often say in Winter Park we have abundance of riches, and I think this goes to show too. We couldn't lose with either one of these selections. So I just wanted to thank everybody for participating, as well as just coming here tonight as well. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Other commissioner comments?
Yes, I would like to tell Angie, 3 years ago, I sat here and probably had 30 or 40 phone calls, people fearful of you taking over the responsibility for the Azalea Lane, and there seemed...
Come out exactly the way you meant it.
Well, probably did. But I had those...
We know what your heart was.
I have phone calls from many of those same people, and they are thrilled. So all I have to say is hats off to you for being sensitive to the community of Winter Park, because that's the most important thing we have here as our community. And Net Results, I have to say, your resume was extremely impressive. Your presentation was impressive. You said something when you spoke. It is time to take the center to the next level. And what I would say is I agree with Commissioner Sprinkle that we did go through quite turmoil here just 3 years ago. And we are starting to see our tennis center back to turn around and back to be the tennis center that we're proud of. I do expect to see the tennis center taken to the next level over the next few years, and hope that you'll come again as we move forward. But I do believe it is too soon to consider yet another change for our community. And I have confidence that with this much community support behind Angie and high performance, I think we have much to be proud of and much to look forward to.
Great, other questions or comments?
It was actually, it was somewhat difficult to I'm on your page, Mr. Sprinkle, as far as the motion. I was reassured when we actually got into a one-year contract renewal process, because I think there were some things that needed to be addressed. And I think that 3 years was too long to go in this period to address them. So I'm confident, I would like to have that first 1 year, and then whatever we did after that was fine. The fact that we have a yearly process where we're gonna look at this, because there are some challenges that need to be met. I'm confident that staff can meet those either contractually or through policies. I think they've heard from all of us on that. There was this overlap between a great business plan and great personal involvement in the club. And I think we're kind of on that personal side here in Winter Park. And it is how we interact with the people here and whatnot. And that is no comment at all on net results as to whether they would or not. But we've been through something, don't want to go through that one again right away. I'm on that page. I do like the fact that we are going to be looking at this thing go on a regular basis to be sure that we're going in the right direction. So,
I don't know if we decided that.
well, that's the basis of what has been put forward is 5-1-year contract, and that's what staff has been asking. I would, on an aside, I would have been comfortable with a 1-year renewal and 2 years after that. I think 1 year, 5 1 years to me is excessive. I think the things that need to be addressed in the first year, and I'm confident if staff wanted to negotiate a longer contract after that first year, I'd be on that page, but I'm thinking, I still need that. There's things that need to be addressed from a business standpoint that I'd like to see occur.
I'm just saying, my point is, we haven't given staff that direction, which way to go with the length of the contract, and that's what they're recommending, but we can certainly alter that.
We can certainly do. The motion is to enter into contractual negotiation with somebody, and saying that at the moment,
You're leaning that way.
well, at the moment, what was presented to both applicants was that there would be 5 1-year contracts, and my assumption is that's where staff is going to start from.
Okay. Let me, in the interest of time, and let me just ask for a show of hands of those who are Winter Park residents in the audience. Let me see that, please. Thank you very much. The next thing is, while we're going to open the floor for public comment, one of the things we did ask was that we could limit that potentially in an effort to come to a more expeditious solution and hear everyone, where we were going to allow each group up to 10 minutes to present if citizens wanted to speak. Let me, before I do that, just see a show of hands of those who are in support of high performance tennis here. Do you all need to speak tonight? Raising your hands. Thank you. And I don't need to ask about net results. There will be people who will be speaking about that, but that does help us. I'll close the public comment then. Clerk, I'm sorry, y'all, any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to be clear on exactly what we're voting on. If we're voting on the opportunity to negotiate, then at least I'd like to make sure that we're clear on some of the issues that were raised on the dais. Is that fair?
It is fair. So the motion that's before us is to negotiate with high performance. I'm assuming that the city staff heard the issues that were concerned, and before a contract would be brought before us, I think that they would be addressed. I would hope, without us having to state that they wouldn't bring us to a contract that didn't address that.
I'm assuming then that contract is coming back to
Because no matter-
the commission
yeah,
to look
that-
at
that
before
would
it's
be
final.
have to come back.
Is that the best way to handle it?
Well, at
That's
this point,
not
we don't have a
what
contract, so.
No, but I'm saying, once we
Yeah.
have one that's,
Including terms, and I heard some
that would
concern
come
about.
back to us to take a look at.
There were reservation system issues, there were daycare issues, there were.
Did you identify maybe what
There were
those, you think
maintenance
those
issues.
were, Randy, or you got them, John?
John.
I think one of them was the additional employees in the office during the busy times, looking at the reservation policy and seeing if we can make some improvements there. Court care, management of the courts, soft courts especially, need daily ritual and making sure that that's done. I think there was a mention of making sure that we were in compliance with any child care that's taking place out there at that point.
The change in the utilities.
Oh, that's already in the RFP and the contract, so that's happening. So,
Did that cover the issues that were of concern?
Are you still looking for the Mr. City Attorney?
I had also heard more detail on the required level of inventory and types of inventory in the pro shop. And I've also heard a few other things from discussions with staff, like
Right.
when Winter Park High School is used for an ancillary facility, when there's overflow, the commission be included, you know, there's some other issues as well. That I recall, the pro shop was an issue, and when other courts or courts
Correct.
was an issue.
We had a list of little items. Those were, a lot of those were housekeeping items that shouldn't rise to this level, but.
So you'll take care of those?
Sure.
And then are we looking, Mr. Mayor, for to Commissioner McMahon's point, 1 year? Is that?
Well, at this point, the motion is silent on that, so I'm assuming that the commission, and Ms. Brown, I guess I'd ask your counsel, though it went out for RFP at one way, whatever contracts ultimately negotiated, I guess, could have different terms, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so that could be looked at with staff. And I didn't hear a majority in one way or the other, but I think there's something more than having to do this every year. It would be a good idea. So,
Yeah, and Commissioner, why I brought that up, there's, you know, if you go down that list, there's, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things. I'd like to see those addressed in the first year, and not that it comes back to us, but that the 5 of us who will be here in a year have an opportunity to say grace over that, and beyond that, whether it's 2-year contracts or 4-year contracts or whatever staff wants to do, but I just think there's some more technical aspects of this that need to be addressed, and I'd be very comfortable with 1 year, and after that, I'm really open to any.
I'm personally ambivalent. I don't know that I want to go through this process every year.
I'm pretty certain they don't.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain they don't.
And where it goes.
And I say that, I mean, there's obviously in any contract, out clauses.
Sure, well,
Your
the
parties
outlaws,
don't
the outlaws is a
perform,
critical thing, Jim.
and that's something that staff would execute if necessary, and that would be on both sides, because critical, you know, and I don't even mean for bad things, but things sometimes change, you have to have that, so.
I think we just need flexibility, whether it's through the number of years or whether it's through the out clause, and I just think that needs to be addressed, so.
Especially when we're changing from something major like this that the community has done in a different manner before. When the city has something and then we let it out, I wouldn't want to jump to the 5 years. While 1 year is too much, maybe we need to gradually ramp up to where the contract's for longer with each time that we let it again. But for me, I wouldn't want to jump to 5 years, and I certainly appreciate that 1 year is too often.
Well, we've certainly built on something over the last 3 years, and we would build on that with either party. Hopefully, we're further down the road of what could have been fear of someone taking over and using it for other purposes. So I would hope that we can build off of the success, frankly. And either team, if we contracted with them, would have been building off of the success of the last 3 years. All clear?
Yes,
Ready to roll.
Commissioner Leary?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprinkle?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes?
Commissioner McMahon?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.